Welcome to Boomer Travel Patrol. I'm your host, Lisa Caslin, and welcome again. We are talking to our good friend, Kathleen Panek. She is a local historian in Shinnston, West Virginia, but her knowledge reaches far and away across the great state of West Virginia. She is a member of the Shinnston Historical Association, so we're going to talk some history today, and we're going to talk about really cool destinations in her state, both from a historical perspective and just from a beauty and aesthetic perspective. So welcome, Kathleen.
Thank you. Glad to
Good,
be here.
good to have you. So tell us a little bit about your hometown first. Talk a little bit about Shinnston, things to do. Obviously, the place to stay is the Gillum House, but give us a little background there.
Okay, Shinnston is a very tiny city. It's actually a city because we have a population of over 2,000. Uh, if you count cats, dogs, kids, and everything, we're probably right around 2,300 people.
Okay.
We have in town the uh, two-story log house for the family that was built by the family for which Shinnston is named.
Hmm.
Levi Shin and his cousins and brothers came to this area about 1772.
Mm.
They went back and got their families. And by 1778, this house was there. It's a two-story log house, which would be a mansion for that time period.
Mm.
Levi said, I'm the man. And it has two rooms down, two rooms up with two central fireplaces that are stone with the stone chimney going through, which would give heat to the second floor, which was unusual for that time period. And even into the 1800s, they were not heating the
Yeah.
upstairs.
Yeah.
But
Beautiful.
I have the key. So if anybody wants to see it, we actually do elopements there in
Oh.
the log house. The ceremony takes place in front of one of the fireplaces.
Oh, very
But
cool.
anybody that wants to see it can make an appointment or and I have the key.
Wonderful. Okay, cool.
We also have a lot of state parks around us. We
Mm-hmm.
have covered bridges for those into history. We
Mm-hmm.
have the 35 miles from here is the Philippi Bridge. It's a covered bridge that was the prize in the first planned battle of the Civil War.
Hmm.
And no, but one person was killed, kind of accidentally, I think. But the Union did win, and the General George McClellan, who was in charge of the battle, made his headquarters at the Jarvis House in Webster, which happens to be the house that Anna Jarvis, the founder of Mother's Day, grew up in.
Oh, very neat.
And Shinnston also has another piece of history that's ongoing and current. The program B&Bs for Vets actually
Oh,
started here at the Gillum House. In 2008, I did it, and then in 2010, we took it nationwide, and now this year, it's spreading into the UK.
oh. Now, what exactly is that program? What's involved with that?
Oh, B&Bs around the country make a minimum of one room available the night of November 10 in honor of Veterans Day. It's totally free of charge, no strings. In
Huh.
2011, Canada started it on their own,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're doing it in the UK, but it's called Thanking Our Forces over there.
That's wonderful. Very good. We've got to let the vets know about this. You're going to be inundated.
Including those in the UK. Um, we are about an hour and a half from Wheeling,
Mm-hmm.
and Wheeling was the first capital of the state of West Virginia. In fact, the state was formed in Wheeling. Uh, it was the original site of Fort Henry,
Mm-hmm.
and Route 40, the national road, ended at Wheeling. That was the terminus for it.
Oh, okay.
So there's so much history in this state. You
Mm-hmm.
go downstate a little bit and you get into the area of the mine wars and the logging camps, the Cass Scenic Railroad, which is a wonderful train ride. And by the way, we do have several train rides in this state.
Okay.
Uh, the Cass Scenic Railroad is a switchback, and it takes them to one of the logging camps that was
Mm-hmm.
at Bald. Well, they have one stop at Whitaker Station, but Bald Knob is where they have rebuilt the logging camp. And they tell you about the life of the loggers as you're going up, and then on the way down, they tell you about the flora and the fauna.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great way to spend an afternoon. They've, since the first time I went up there, they now have an overlook, and Bald Knob is the second highest peak in the state.
Hmm.
Uh, then there's over in Romney, they have the Potomac Eagle, which is a train ride that goes along the Potomac River, and you actually see eagles
Wow.
quite frequently. In fact, usually.
Mm-hmm.
Over in a little further east from there is Harper's Ferry,
Yeah.
uh, town of Bath, which is surrounded by the city of Berkeley Springs, but Bath is a city of its own, and that's where the hot springs were that George Washington and the rich people of his era would go there for the baths.
Very neat.
Uh,
What about the
towns
bunker? Oh, tell us about the bunker.
Bunker, Briar. When they were worried about the Washington, D.C. getting annihilated in a war, they built this bunker under the mountain.
What year would that
And
would that have been? Do you know?
I honestly don't know. It would be easy to Google it to find out for
Mm-hmm.
anyone who wanted to know when it was built. But it was about 2003, 2004 that The Secret came out.
Hmm.
And a reporter was able to dig it out of, I have no idea how he managed it, because the people in White Sulphur Springs were very closed-mouthed about it. If you
Mm-hmm.
were an alien, meaning somebody who came in from outside,
Yeah.
nobody would tell you anything. Had to have been there 3 or 4 generations
Uh-huh.
to
Wow.
somebody from there.
Uh-huh.
But it was for Congress. It was big enough for the entire Congress to be there. They even have a room where they would hold the congressional meetings,
Interesting.
just be in session.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that's wonderful to see. You can book it online. Uh, you have to have, their tickets are sold for time periods. They
Mm-hmm.
just have so many that would go in each tour. So you can get your tickets in advance. My cousin did just 2 weeks ago, and
And
they
oh,
loved it. They came when they stopped in at my house. They were just
yeah.
wow.
And I'm sorry, what part of the state is that located?
It's in the uh, eastern mountain section. It's south of me and to the east.
What would the
It's in
town be or the
White Sulphur Springs is the town that the Greenbrier Hotel is in.
Okay, and
So
that's how you access it. Okay.
yes, and the Greenbrier Hotel itself has all sorts of history. It was built by the railroad as a destination
Mm-hmm.
to get people to come there, and there's baths there. And Sam Snead, the golfer, would learned how to golf as a caddy
Hmm.
at the Greenbrier, and
Wow.
he used to do it barefoot.
Oh,
So Sam Snead is the shining star from there. But the Greenbrier Hotel is very famous and fabulous.
yeah. Very cool.
Then if you go a little further north from the Greenbrier, and still in that eastern mountain section in Hillsboro, is the home that was built by Pearl Buck's grandfather, and that's where she was born. Her mother came back from China. She had lost the first child, so she came back from China to give birth to Pearl Buck.
Oh, wow.
And
Very neat.
it's still there, and it's a wonderful house to see. Um,
So if you've got somebody, let's say you've got a couple that, maybe wants to spend a long weekend in West Virginia, maybe they want to do a little sightseeing, a little, soaking up the history, but they want to take in the mountains. Are there tours that are not too strenuous, that are, moderate in nature that one could partake of?
I actually have turn-by-turn routes to take people up to Wheeling, to take them over to Blackwater Falls State Park. It's a waterfall, and they have trails through the park, but the
Mm-hmm.
waterfall is absolutely gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Just north of me is Valley Falls State Park, which is another absolutely gorgeous area and has hiking trails. Tigert Lake State Park has hiking trails. Now, also in West Virginia are rail trails.
Oh, I
And
love that. Yeah.
less than 50 feet from my door is a 17-mile rail trail. It has about a 5% grade during that 17 miles. So it's very
That's not
gentle.
bad.
And
Good.
it follows along the West Fork River and goes between the cities of Shinnston and Fairmont.
Oh, very
And
nice.
once you get to Fairmont, you have to cross by city streets to get to the other side of the city. Then
Mm-hmm.
you pick up the McTrail, which is a 1 mile trail that has a tunnel,
Mm-hmm.
which takes you to Prickett's Fort State Park. And Prickett's Fort is a recreation of a stockaded civilian fort. Cross the road from Prickett's Fort, you pick up the Mon River Conservancy trails that take you to Morgantown and into Pennsylvania.
Wow, wonderful.
And that's
Okay.
the network. South of me is the North Bend State Park and North Bend Rail Trail. It's a 77-mile, I think, rail trail
Mm-hmm.
that goes from Wolf Summit, which is about 15 miles from me,
Mm-hmm.
to within a mile of Parkersburg. And in Parkersburg, they have a sternwheeler that takes you out to the Blennerhassett Island, where they've recreated the Blennerhassett Mansion, which is, when I got off the sternwheeler, I looked up and I said, I'm at Mount Vernon. It's the Palladian style
Oh,
house.
beautiful.
And that's where Aaron Burr scampered after he had his duel with Alexander Hamilton.
Oh.
The North Bend Trail is beautiful. They have mile markers and various places where you can camp or little towns where you can stop. The lodge at North Bend State Park is a beautiful place to stay. And I actually happen to be on the board of the North Bend Rail Trail Foundation.
Oh, great. Okay. So before I let you go, we are coming into the fall and the foliage season is coming upon us, right? So in preparation for that, are there any, festivals or anything, special events that might be coming up that would give folks a reason to visit West Virginia in the fall?
In October, they have Bridge Day at the New River Gorge. They
Mm-hmm.
close 2 lanes of the bridge, and they actually have bungee jumping, parasailing, parachute jumping. This bridge is high enough to parachute jump.
Wow. Okay.
Bridge Day, I believe it's the second weekend in October.
Mm-hmm.
That's another gorgeous area, and they have whitewater rafting,
Mm-hmm.
and they have various degrees. You can do. They have pontoon boats that would go down it, or you can do the rapids. And then also in the fall, they open up the dam at Summersville and let some more water out, and they do whitewater rafting on the Gauley. And the Gauley is so rigorous that if you have not done whitewater rafting someplace else, you cannot do the Gauley.
Oh, wow. Okay. Exciting.
But it's another great trip. I've done it. I've done the New River whitewater rafting twice myself.
Okay, good for you.
And I also stayed in the boat. I didn't fall out.
All right. Well,
So we
listen,
have a
Kathleen.
lot of adventures. There's zip lining. There is every age. We have
Yeah.
something in West Virginia for every age and every interest. We have arts, culture. Uh, they have a wonderful art museum over at Huntington. It's a great place.
Okay, we're going to
Come
come
see
visit.
us.
We are. We are. All right. Listen, thank you so much for your time. Good to see you.
You're quite welcome, and thank you for inviting me.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye.